The opinions expressed by our guests do not reflect the views of the Cozy Crib podcast. What is said on this podcast is nothing worse than what is said behind the closed doors of every household. Enjoy the show.
People in these cities are more depressed on average.
Oh, yeah. Oh, if you look at the statistics, they're fucking unbelievable. But, dude, go take a hike in nature and tell me how fast your anxiety and your depression goes away.
That's gone.
Me and Keith, bro. We go for behind our public library. We go for runs all the time. I've never felt more energetic. I could literally run around those trails all fucking day. To be honest, no break.
I mean, that's an ancestral thing.
And I feel so at peace. Yeah, the most at peace I've ever felt in my life was me and some of my boys went and we hiked Mount Washington, bro. 16 hours straight almost. We were on those fucking trails in the middle of nature. And it's like a grueling hike too, right? I literally wish I could go back there every single day. Yeah. I've never felt so...
That's how people are meant to fucking move around.
Yeah, I've never felt like so right. You know what I'm saying? Like being in like this natural beauty. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
it's natural.
You ever heard of grounding? Grounding yourself?
I ground all the time.
Barefoot.
So if you don't know what that is, grounding yourself is putting your feet on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. You could say grass. And the earth is energy. Energy is around you. It can't be created nor destroyed. So when the earth has so much fucking energy, you are literally channeling that energy through your feet, which is out of all the body parts, it's one of the main
That's
body
where
parts.
Your chakra system starts.
If you want to talk about chakra, but
yeah, no, that is where it is. Yeah,
no, I think that's
what
pretty.
It is.
That's pretty accessible.
I'm not. What's it called? I'm not like a fan of chakra.
He thinks it's demonic.
Not demonic. We can talk about it. But
I'll say this.
Back to the grounding. Grounding just gives you energy and you'll feel the difference. It's not a facade. You actually feel the difference.
But you're looked at as like a weirdo if you like kick your shoes and socks off and go like frolic in the fields. You know what I mean?
Or
it's all about how you do it.
Sit in front of the sun and stare at it.
Yeah, it's.
But isn't it crazy that caffeine is like one of the most
socially accepted
drugs?
That is the most addictive drug.
Yeah. Socially accepted drug.
It's
It's
interesting, like the level of normalization with certain substances. Like, for example, like caffeine is America runs on Dunkin'. Right?
Just
like you don't get shamed for, and I think really the level of acceptance is based on how much shame you receive for being addicted to something, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, food would be probably one of the hugest addictions. You sometimes get shamed for food. Caffeine is one of the worst because nobody gets shamed for having a caffeine addiction, except the fact that, for example, even like with my family members, or even Keith, I remember you said this to me. If you wake up in the morning and someone tries to have a conversation with you and you haven't had your coffee yet, you can't even like have a functional conversation with them.
You could tell me my grandfather died, and if I didn't have my coffee, I would be like, oh.
yeah, seriously.
Word.
Yeah, like shut the fuck up and let me get my coffee. Exactly. So it's interesting how we as a society view some drugs as being fine and some as being something you should get shamed for and you need help with. You know what I'm saying? So it's just we should have a clean slate for all of these addictions. They're all shit for you. Doesn't matter what as a society we tell each other. Coffee is an addiction just like fucking cocaine.
I was just about to bring that up. Caffeine is going to hit your brain extremely similar to cocaine.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, I mean, Coca-Cola, they replaced the cocaine in it to fucking caffeine.
Yeah.
All right? I mean, that's just like
so fucking crazy, actually.
They spiked Coca-Cola with cocaine.
Yeah.
All right? So it's a very common beverage.
What's a similar socially acceptable drug we can replace the cocaine with? Caffeine.
Caffeine.
Right? Yeah.
I think it's terrible. Now, one interesting thing about caffeine, I guess, is it allows you to defy the clock.
How so?
You can start your day at any time, independent of the sun.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, that was well said. Yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah. That's pretty much
depending on the sun.
That's kind of how caffeine has impacted, especially America. It's so popular here. You can work night shifts, so companies can have 24/7 production. and productivity 24/7. Because we have that wouldn't be possible. You wouldn't be able to fucking convince anyone to work a night shift without caffeine.
Or be like a trucker
cocaine.
or something where you're on the road.
Yo, all those truckers are blasting stimulants, dude. There's no other way to work that job.
Let's talk about Freemasonry and symbolism.
You want to go in on it?
Ooh, occult symbolism,
all right.
yay. I love
So we can go full woo-woo schizo in this section, because this will be like the last part.
This is the last part, and it starts now, and you have 45 minutes to fucking go off.
All right, yeah. motherfucker.
Esoteric schism.
Well, listen, the first half of this fucking podcast was very digestible for the Nelk Boy fans that might be listening. If you don't want me to talk about how Doja Cat is a literal fucking demon, I would tune out. All right. So, where do you even like start?
Start with music.
A topic
Start
like
with
this?
music
let's
because
start with the music industry
Because-
and everything about it. Because
Yeah.
there's too many symbols. There's too many things.
Well,
that
I would argue
you
that
can't oversee.
music is just the easiest way to influence people.
it is.
It's the easiest, and it's the most blatant, occult thing. We were just talking about this before we, went back on camera. Really think about the origins of what the fuck music was meant to do. Music was meant to instill spirit and energy into people in times of, religious ceremony.
Or war.
War, I was just going to say that. Religious rituals especially. So this is meant to instill things into people, to make them act out and manifest certain energies and scenarios, okay? Make no mistake. Even, in recent wars, 1800s, 1900s, they had fucking drummers.
Yeah.
They had drummers for, a war band to bring these people into battle. This is still a thing that happened even then. Think about fucking Viking times. These people, war cries, war shouts, all this stuff. So the influence of music is integral to the human experience. And this is how they get you, right? Because, you start off as a Christian, then you're introduced to the Luciferian principles, okay? Or the satanic, they're different, I should say that. Luciferianism is like, they have a hyper focus on attaining enlightenment to change the world. Now, that sounds good. The intent and the actual things they do with it are evil and for material pursuits, leading to Satanism, where it's completely materialistic. They want you to only care about fast cars, bitches, meaningless sex, fucking drug use, all this stuff. What the fuck does rap talk about all the time? I got these bitches, I got this money, I'm on a jet.
Yeah.
Drug use.
Making people fucking dumb.
Uncommitted sex.
Yeah. It's like the biggest fucking psyop is rap music.
Violence.
I can't listen to that shit.
It's a bad energy.
Dude, I
You
can't.
take a break from it.
Even the track, even down to the way 808 drums hit. It's like a low fucking frequency.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, boom. That sound.
Yeah.
It's bringing your frequency down. They're only talking about sex, money, cause, yada, yada, yada. You're not going to hear anything that changes your fucking spiritual outlook on life from fucking a Key Glock song.
And look at what effect this has on like communities.
Oh, yeah.
Look at where this music originates from. Inner city communities.
Yeah.
Is an inner city community somewhere where you would like to live?
It's not even
it's
just
people
rap,
all
though.
chasing these. No, it's not. It's like country music
Country-
as well.
I was just gonna say that.
Country music, right? You have all the songs are about alcoholism and getting like divorced. I think.
I don't even think it's not just about the fact it's promoting drinking and these like really stupid low vibrational like mind frames to be in. I think it's like with country, there's no like smart songwriters now because they just want hyper commercialized pop music, both in rap and country, and then you got like fucking people like fucking Taylor Swift.
Oh my god.
I don't even want to talk about that because
That's a hot take. So many people.
it is.
love
Yo, I
her.
don't care.
Neither do
no.
I.
This is the truth though, bro. Like this is why we did the fucking podcast. Like you're telling me you're gonna go to this bitch's concert and she's gonna be dressed as a fucking witch.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be in partake of a ritual as you're sitting in your seat and you're cheering for this fucking bitch, bro. How about the weekend putting Satan on the back of his fucking screen, flashing it real quick so you wouldn't pick up, but if you're recording it and you slow it down, you see that shit.
That's what happens with these musicians. So it's like, oh, you want limitless amounts of money, fame, all the bitches, all the cars you could ever want. All right. Well, all right. You're gonna have to give something up. You want to give up your ass? That's a literal thing they do.
Say that too, yeah.
Eminem. You want to give up your family? Kanye. And he easily said it himself. This isn't conspiracy talk. Yeah. You become morally raped, where you are forced to do things that you would never do if you were still living your original life path as a normal person, not in this sphere, where you're forced to promote ideologies, you're forced to promote a toxic lifestyle. Look at Lil Nas X. Listen, I don't care, LGBTQ, whatever. I think when you're like promoting a video of you doing a lap dance on Satan, yeah, dude, I don't
think these people would actually be trying.
I think normal people are like, bro, what the fuck are you on?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if it's a freedom of expression. Listen, I'm still allowed to critique your expression.
Yeah, and so. No, and I do get what you're saying. However, it just seems like, and I actually agree with what you said about the normal way that it.
I think it's mostly like that.
It's just you sign a contract in which, like you said, you're forced to kind of promote a false identity. You're forced to be a false persona, promote and do things that you would never normally do. So you're not allowed to have that inner spiritual connection with yourself. So you're selling your soul. You're selling your free will, maybe, in terms of this monetary contract to be able to express your inner soul. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, all right, your soul's getting fucking locked up. Your rest of all eternity, it's gone.
What is a sellout? They give up their personal morals to make money.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what selling your soul is.
Yeah, so they're giving up their personal free will and morals to dive into the material. So they're going to Satan.
Well, even I just don't like, okay, so for example, so you do whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah. No.
But then you go to a fucking Travis Scott Astroworld concert where he's literally continuing to perform as people are screaming and begging for mercy, as people are literally dropping dead from asphyxiation. And first responders can't reach them. Like, you're literally being sacrificed at these fucking events, dude. It's not just the artist doing what they want to do. You go to these concerts and you participate in like this sort of like ritualistic, like satanic behavior, you're getting negatively affected. Like, dude, like people died at Travis Scott's Astroworld concert, and he did not even stop his performance.
I heard it was in the front too, and he could
see them.
He was a high pedestal, and he could see what's happening. He had a straight face. He just knows, but.
They were telling him to. Fans were begging him to stop, dude.
Yeah.
This is the issue with a lot of people, and this is not to talk from like as if I'm better than these people, because we're all susceptible to these same things. But it's not that they're not afraid of it; it's that they don't care, and that if you try to tell them about it, they'll just fucking laugh at you. You know what I mean? Like they actively would rather refuse like the difficult reality that, oh wow, my favorite like artists are actively pushing like satanic messages.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking with my psyche, as opposed to like acknowledging that. Like,
I mean, look at Playboy Cardi. That's another guy. Literally has the fucking pentagram tattooed on his ribcage. So that tells you what he's about. And the way this guy fucking performs and the outfits he wears. Yeah. You got to be stupid to not see this shit. Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. You have to be fucking retarded.
Yeah, and you have people sitting there with bated breath while they're like scrolling to see what the next single is dropped by Lil Uzi Vert. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna tell you, oh, bro, dude, it's not even that deep, bro. Yes, it is. Listen, you don't think it's that deep because you're still like a fucking emotional toddler. You're still worried about when Lil Uzi Vert is gonna drop a song. Yeah. That tells me all I need to know about you. You think fucking I Just Wanna Rock is like something listenable. All right? I don't want you to think of witchcraft in a literal Harry Potter sense, where people they grab a fucking wand and they go Leviosa or some shit, and then a fucking fireball comes out, right? It's not like that. It's a mental thing, where even us just talking, we're putting out energy for others to think and feel a certain way. That's just the most base root version of what witchcraft would be considered. Now, when you're an influential figure and you're putting out symbols, most easiest example I could tell you is, why do you think so many fast food places have a fucking, they're all red. They're all branded red.
Psychology.
Yeah, so color psychology is, well, the color red is one, aggression. That also would lead into, rash decision making. You're making the decision quick. And it's also going to stimulate hunger, the color red. So all these places, they use red. So when you see it, you think to yourself, oh, I really want a fucking Big Mac right now. No, you don't. You were just manipulated to do that.
Yeah.
You're bombarded with this shit on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's evil. And you should be mad about this, that they're fucking doing that to you. You ever see the Native Americans who do like their tribal dances and stuff?
African American slaves too, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It's meant to invoke a spirit.
Anything, bro.
It's meant to invoke a spirit. So when you're doing these, even like the TikTok dance, which I just thought of, that's such a fucking
You wanna
dumb.
show our viewers what kind of dance it was?
You want me to stand up and do?
You want to give a demonstration? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't even think of. No, I'm not gonna fucking. What do you think I am? You think I'm a dumb dork? Like I'm a grown ass man and I'm gonna fucking be in my living room to do TikTok dances?
Are you saying it's weird as a grown man to be recording videos
To
of
record
yourself
to
dancing?
fucking super high pitched up, sped up fucking remixes.
Something that's interesting to me is so we talk about this a lot, how like fear and polarization and things
Yeah.
like this, how that's what sells, right? Like confrontation sells, conflict sells, polarized opinions sell, and they grab people's attentions. Why is that what we gravitate towards? Like
The truth isn't glamorous.
Why? But yeah, but why? Oh, is that why you think? Is that
Look at fitness. I mean, fitness is it's such a stupid thing, but it's also like the most obvious and easy to understand example of this, where it's like there is no balanced approach.
no?
There is no. You got one guy who's shirtless on fucking roids, like he's LARPing as a caveman, okay, and he's trying to sell you to eat raw testicles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Despite the fact he's on steroids and being super.
Yeah, hey, you look like me. Obviously, and here's the thing with the logistical argument. Oh, well, he wouldn't look like that if he wasn't working. No fucking shit. But he also gets how many thousands of dollars from selling this lifestyle? Obviously, he has all the time in the world to work out.
Which is what he's saying is a naturalistic
He's not.
lifestyle.
Is it naturalist to record your workouts?
No, no, it's not. Something else the health industry does in the fitness industry is, like you said, it's never like, oh, just a balanced approach. It's always like, I have this really specific and super extreme lifestyle that will make you lose weight, and it will basically give you a six pack and make you look like a Greek god, and it will solve all your health issues. It's always like a one and done, like, do this one lifestyle that I'm preaching and that I'm going to sell to you, and then you're going to buy my products that align with this, and all of your health concerns are going to go away, and you're going to have the body of your dreams. Yeah, and that's just not how.
And people who don't know any better, they're gonna fall in line with
which is most people, including us, right? At points, right?
It's never.
It's not bad to want to be healthy and work out.
It's
That's
not.
what we're saying.
But what's bad is when people play upon that.
Yeah. And when you're like hyper focused,
they use your weakness to their strengths, and they.
I know. I
try
just
to
said.
knowledge to you.
Yeah.
Off their little course.
I just said that people who are like super into working out and think it's like you're like a god amongst men if you get a good physique, right? I did say that's pretentious and it doesn't really matter in terms of like real war type people. But listen, it's still good for you to do. The problem is like when you make it your whole identity. Once you're assigning things outside of yourself to your identity, you're becoming lost and you're becoming an insufferable person to be around. You can't market a balanced meal.
No.
You can't market a food package that has berries, meat, and a vegetable.
No.
You can't market that because that's not even interesting. No. I can just go pick up that shit at the fucking supermarket. Yeah. But if I'm marketing raw liver, bull testicles, all vegan diet, vegan burgers and stuff
Deer
like that, and you gotta go
fish eyes and fucking pig feet and
or hey, here's my workout program to look exactly like me. Impossible. Fucking impossible. Everyone's different. You're telling me that if I buy who's a fitness influencer that has like a fucking program? Alex Eubank.
Alex Eubank.
If I don't know if he has a program. I'm not gonna look exactly like him. He's fucking what, 5'7", 5'11", something like that. Yeah. Been lifting for. I'm not gonna look exactly like him after one.
Genetics, though, that people don't.
That too.
Is your genetics. You're not gonna be 6'5" and 250 lean, 8% body fat, shredded at 4'11". Like it's.
Yeah.
Everyone has different genetics. Your chest could be bigger, your biceps could be stronger, your legs could be even stronger than most. But, yeah, it's just a vital thing to play on people's weakness.
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that in like this culture, it's like you look down on others that are able to get to the same level. Dude, it's one aspect of life to go to the fucking gym and lift.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of dudes. I bet there's a lot of dudes that could literally, no effort, fuck your bitch that haven't even hit the gym in years. Leo DiCaprio.
Absolutely.
Hey, is your girlfriend under 25? I guarantee you they are, because if you're listening to this, you're definitely like a college-age kid, at least at this point, right? I guarantee you, Leo DiCaprio goes up to your college crush. He's fucking that night.
Yeah. And that motherfucker does not.
He is out of shape. You could be 6 foot, 6-pack, massive biceps. Your bench is fucking 300 pounds. Leo DiCaprio is still fucking your bitch.
My mom always used to tell me, she used to say, everything in moderation, Josh. And I used to look at her and go, that is like the most based advice I've ever heard in my life. That's the shit they always tell you. And that's the shit you're like, oh, you know, that's so simple that can't be like the quick fix to all my problems. But that's because there's an insinuation that there's a quick fix, period, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. The advice that your parents give you, right? Like in the most basic advice that we all overlook is just to live a balanced life.
It's always the most basic thing.
Have a healthy, balanced relationship with food, right? Go to the gym, but also don't let it become your identity, right? Just take care of yourself. It's literally that simple. I don't think a lot of people understand, but like, look at the rest of the animal kingdom. You don't see fat and obese animals, right? Even like the big, heavy animals are all fucking muscle.
Yeah,
right?
gorillas.
We're naturally inclined as animals to like be in shape.
When you hyper focus on this and it's every waking thought, other aspects of your life are going to struggle. And the percent of people that are going to get into this, and there is naturally like a genetic, a spiritual thing in them where this is actually their life path, like something to do, right? That percent of people that get into this and are fed this narrative of obsessing over fitness is a very low percent. And if you actually try to really think about what it would take to be a professional athlete or something, say you want to be a pro fighter or something, really think about all the things you would experience.
Yeah.
You want to be a pro bodybuilder. Like, really think about all the things you would have to experience. Are you really going to give all that up?
Absolutely not.
I doubt it.
Well, even think about how these guys make weight cut, where they have to fast all day. They have to constantly be doing cardio. Then they have to be in the sauna all day for hours and hours just to make weight cut. Like that's hell.
Hey, and I know when you're a fucking 18 to 20 something, you're like, oh, that's not even that hard. Well, okay. Listen, I'm going to assume that you're not like literally antisocial. You talk to no one. I'm going to assume that you actually go out in your life and you make connections with people, right? You're not going to have time to do that and maintain healthy relationships and an actual fulfilling life outside of this. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because, dude, there's not a lot of people that are going to put up with that unless they are really down with your dream. But this is if you're an upper echelon person.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a bit different. I will give it that you can be an influencer, right? And then you can make the money off that, but you're still not like a top tier person. Yeah. You're getting the money off influencing the thing, not being the best at it. And that's pretty much what the fitness industry is. Yeah. Yeah, people calling themselves athlete because they look good naked.
Or even like, how many people at the gym do you go up to who say, oh yeah, I'm an amateur bodybuilder? And it's like, oh, have you
went on the stage? No.
Are you even actively looking for bodybuilding competitions, or do you just like to say that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you understand how much work actually goes into doing
this? Goes into like it's the fantasy video you showed me, but here's another interesting thing. I would literally say it's like this delusional, like it's a deluded mind state, and I think it's something that people do to cope with an insecurity. You know, hyper dedicate themselves to something.
A lot of people do use the gym and putting on size and weight in the gym as a way to kind of cover up an insecurity. I mean, I know a lot of kids from high school personally who they were kind of not really that, we'll say, traditionally popular or attractive. We would say, not to be disrespectful, right? But they weren't getting like a lot with, like, they weren't getting a lot of girls or something like that. They weren't getting a lot of respect.
You could
right?
say attention, respect.
Yeah, attention, respect, whatever you want to say. And so these guys, like after high school, they get super jacked because they started on their gym grind, right? And now they're just egotistical fucks about it because they're overcompensating in that way to kind of deal with that insecurity.
It's like when you glow up, you have no idea how to act.
Yeah, you don't.
That's just the easiest way to say it.
No.
It's so easy though to make it a personality trait when you're not successful in anything in life, but then once you're good at something, obviously you're gonna make it all about that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Back to what you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing I don't think a lot of people understand, and I think this would build a much healthier relationship with like working out and things of that nature, especially if you start off going to the gym because of an insecurity with how you look. that insecurity is not just skin deep, brother. Like if you go to the gym, you're a fat kid, right? And you go to the gym and you get huge, that insecurity didn't go anywhere mentally. Just the root of it went away, but that shit is still lingering in your mind. And I had that, dude, sophomore year. Right now I'm 135 fucking pounds, and that's a little skinny, but I'm happy with the way I look, right? I was 180 pounds my sophomore year of high school, dude. And you could tell, man boobs, double chin, the fucking shit. I wasn't getting no girls, bro. I wasn't getting any respect, really. I was a piece of shit.
Hey, you were lifting that weight real fucking heavy, though.
Oh, I was. I was putting up crazy numbers in the gym, all my maxes, but it wasn't worth it, right? And so when I like lost all the weight, I remember very vividly. I was in this I was at this girl's house, right? And we were gonna go in the hot tub, and I was like so insecure about taking my shirt off, right? Because the insecurity didn't go away.
Once that fat kid,
once a fat kid, always a fucking fat kid.
Dude, I think that's definitely a fat kid syndrome. That's a real thing.
No, it goes with.
It's called body dysmorphia. If you want to get
dysmorphia.
Dysmorphia.
Well, it's the same way. Even if you're
body dysmorphia, when you looking into them. I cut you
see
off.
something
No,
else.
you're good.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So it's even the same thing if you're a skinny guy and you go into the gym and get huge, right? But you got bullied because you were a weak skinny guy. Now you're gonna abuse your newfound power because you're still insecure, like you were that scrawny little.
Well, let's go to the root of the problem. We already know that this is what they do. It's a lack of ability to confront yourself. I think the scariest thing for a lot of people would be to be forced to confront their innermost issues. And that's something that people, they literally will go their whole life avoiding having a self-talk, an honest discussion with yourself about what type of person you are and really reflecting on it. Like, do I like what I'm acting and being on a daily basis? And the more you avoid it, the worse it's going to get. The more it's going to fester. And this is how you become a despicable piece of shit. That's why it's important to be bored. It's important to not constantly be on the phone. It's important to not constantly be feeling something, some type of stimulant, or some type of drug.
That is incredibly interesting. What you just said
That's the only time
to be bored, because when you're bored is the only time.
This is when the thoughts come.
Those thoughts that you have been repressing and you've been shoving down into your subconscious are creeping their way up. Your deepest insecurities, your biggest regrets, things of this nature, right? All the fuck shit you've done, right? All of that is coming at you.
I'll tell you this. Like I can tell you this in detail. I remember this, and I still do. It's really weird how it still sticks with me. I remember I was probably in 9th grade. I think I just smoked the dab cart, probably 5-10 times, whatever.
Damn.
And I mean that was nothing because I had a tolerance. But I'm sitting on my bed and I'm just looking up. I fucking tossed my phone away. I didn't have the fucking TV on. I wasn't playing the fucking 2K. And I just sit up. I'm looking at the ceiling and I'm reflecting to myself all of I wouldn't even say relationships because that implies it's like close, but like all of the acquaintances and people I'm around and how it's related to me. Like I'm just analyzing every single aspect of connections with others, how my psyche relates to that, things that I'm doing wrong, things that might be taken the wrong way, really trying to figure out what's making me tick, but also what's wrong with how I'm acting and according to others. And that's something you need to do or you're going to go through your life. And I mean, any other generation, they would have had this fucking talk, but we have so much constant stimuli where we can never reach that state of consciousness to be able to just really take 30 minutes, think about your life, think about the people in it, think about what you're doing, why are you doing it? How do you feel on a daily basis, right? This is such a simple thing. Like saying it out loud, it's so simple.
It sounds silly almost.
It's silly, but if you really do it, you will be like, holy, this is profound. It's almost like a psychedelic experience if you're someone who's like fucking TikTok ruling over yourself, right? You're watching NPC live streams, okay? Yeah. This is going to be something like taking an ayahuasca trip in the rainforest.
Yeah. And it's to the extent where people are so afraid to have that brutally honest self-appraisal and open up that dialogue with themselves and let those thoughts not just creep in, but to like reflect on them, like to the extent where people are actively making plans to hang out just to have someone around to validate their existence.
Yeah.
Something that some of my friends at college were doing is apparently like girls, like when one of them is showering, like another one will literally sit in there with them and talk to them.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it is, to the point where people do not want to be left alone to their own thoughts.
You can be alone without being lonely.
So, before we wrap it up, is there one last thing that you would like to say?
Well, I have one more thing I would like to say.
All right, well, let's start with you.
So back to the psychedelic experience thing you said. I think drugs are an incredible way to. So I know how you said sometimes
I
it's
would
just a
agree.
random day, right? Where it's like it's a very slow change.
Well, a psychedelic forces it.
No, a psychedelic trip. Like I don't think people understand. That's why so many people have bad trips, because your first trip will like make you confront all of these things right off the bat. Right? Like when you open up the doors to your subconscious, that's what's going to come out. Psychedelics especially is an insane way. If you don't understand how to take those first few steps, or if you feel like there's a lot of issues in your life that you just don't understand why these are happening, why you keep making the same mistakes, why you're not improving, why your relationships aren't improving, try it. Right? I'm not going to sit here and promote drugs, but that's absolutely what I'm about to do. Is I'm going to sit here and say, if you take a small
Everyone
dose of
watching
psychedelics,
this, take 5 G's of mushrooms tonight. See Jesus.
just at least give it some thought that a small dosage of psychedelics can really open your eyes to a lot of things. Like so like I told you, my sophomore year I was 180 pounds, right? So I was a piece of shit. I was addicted to weed. I had a very bad,
You're addicted
toxic
to food.
Yeah, I was addicted to food as well. I called it a dirty bulk, but I was addicted to food. I had a very toxic friend group. I really had nothing going for me. I just failed my driver's test. I was failing in school.
Really?
Yeah, and so obviously one of my buddies had at the same time talked me into doing an acid trip with him. So we got a group of guys together. We did an acid trip. The come down, for people that don't know, of an acid trip is fucking hell, right? It's like was 3 days of literal like mental like fuckery.
Delirium.
Not even, dude. Like this is crazy shit. I literally was sitting in my kitchen and I felt like the walls were like fucking closing in on me, and I had like a mental breakdown type shit. And so what happened was, so when I get home from that experience, I'm sitting at the top of my steps on the second floor landing, and the weight of the realization that I felt, like I literally will never forget it. Just this realization, this intangible thing. I remember sitting there, and all at once, I just realized how much of genuinely a fucking loser I was, right?
Wow.
And that realization, I recoiled because it felt like someone had thrown a brick in my fucking face, right? That's when I realized that my life was a joke. I hadn't accomplished anything of value. I wasn't going anywhere, and I wasn't doing anything productive. And that realistically, I had a lot of self-loathing, right? So you know what I could do after that? That was a really shitty thing to realize. But I was able to then learn, assess, and then improve. You know what I mean? So many people are afraid of trying these psychedelics because of a bad trip, but you have to be aware of these things before you can fix them.
I think it's a great way to end it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, Keith, thank you for being on the podcast. It was an absolute pleasure you being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Way to start episode 1. Way to start
Absolutely.
episode
Yep.
1.
Way to kick it off.
Cocaine.
Yeah. All right. Get the fuck out
Gentlemen.
of my mom's garage.
That was a banger.
Absolutely.